Okay, should I say my name?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Barbara Kiely. I'm the Health Services Assistant here at Santa Susana High School. I was fortunate enough to have Vicki as a wonderful student here at Santa Susana High School, especially in her freshman year when she hurt her knee. And she was absolutely wonderful in leadership class, a wonderful, wonderful addition to Santa Susana. So, Vicki, do you have some questions for me?
I do have some questions for you. Well, first off, I do know a little bit about your background, like where you were raised, and like how you ended up here, and like what drove you to be a nurse here.
Well, I'm actually not the nurse, I'm the NTN.
Yeah, but you're
not the nurse. I know. I was born on the south side of Chicago in the suburbs in Evergreen Park, Illinois. I spent my youth and was actually married and left home at 21 when I got married in Oak Lawn, Illinois, which is a suburb next to it. I was married at the time. I lived in upstate New York for 3 years, then moved back to Chicago for 2 years while my husband finished his schooling. Then I moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Then I moved to Blaine, Minnesota, which is just outside of Minneapolis, St. Paul. And then he took another job in Colorado, decided he didn't like it, found another position in Northern California, in San Jose. And so we lived there for a year. So basically, we've been around. I often say we don't vacation, we move. And then he was offered a position down here in Southern California, and that's how I got here to Simi Valley.
Oh my gosh.
Moved here right after the Rodney King riots. It was not an easy time, but I moved down here. We actually met at the junior college that we were attending, Moraine Valley Junior College in Palos Hills, Illinois. He had a friend named Mike Smith, and Mike had a girlfriend but no car, and Kevin had a car but no girlfriend. So my friend Kathy suggested, oh, we double date with Barb. Mike and Kathy lasted about 6 months, and we got married, and we lasted 25 years. Oh, so romantic. What attracted me to him was his laugh. Yeah, was his laugh. He had a great laugh. I haven't heard it in years.
Did you hear it in class, like across the room?
Yes, I used to always know whenever he was in the student union because I could hear him laugh.
Mm-hmm. What class is it?
This was, we just met in, met in the student union.
Okay.
He was a physics and med student. I was taking business classes. And he would say, oh, I thought business classes were boring stuff because he liked that stuff. That's calculus. And so we never really took classes together. That was the only thing. We took one biology class together.
Was that after you guys started dating?
Oh, yeah. I met him when I was 18. It's the only boy I dated from 18. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, long time. It was genuine, and it would resonate nicely, and it just...
Did you interview it?
I don't know if I can. I'm trying to think. It was a smile on his lips. I can hear him throughout the student meetings. Oh, Kevin's here. Not really. Like I said, it's been many years since I've heard it. Yeah, but that was the one thing that attracted me to him.
How long did you guys date before you got
2.5
serious?
years. 2 years. We met in 74. We got 72. Beginning of 72, and we got married on July 6th of 74. So about 2.5 years. Mm-hmm.
His wonderful laugh, and I'm sure did he like your laugh as well, or was it like? Yeah, we're both.
I don't know. We just kind of clicked. I met him when I was 18. He was 19. We just kind of clicked. He had a wonderful smile. He was smart. He was good looking. We were the same height. I mean, he wasn't extremely tall. About 5'11". It was just one of those kind of things. It just kind of fell into place, and I got married. Even my parents were kind of like, whoa, because I never really had a steady boyfriend for a long time. Yeah, just one of those things.
Yeah, bring up your parents. Why were they so shocked that...
Because I never brought a boy home. My sister was the one who dated everybody, and I never really had a boyfriend. I never really dated much. I didn't go to the dances or anything because, I just never had a date. So when I brought this guy, he had long hair and a motorcycle. And I think that's why my parents were a little worried about Barbara. And but turns out his dad's a lawyer. His mother was a nurse when she was working. She was their family of 5, and they lived a mile from us. It's like we lived in the same town.
Do you feel like your parents set a certain expectation for you, or like were they like good role models for you to look up to? Like were they like a stable relationship, like a solid?
They had a stable, somewhat relationship. I had 3 siblings who were handicapped. There was never talk of divorce ever in the family. My older sister and my brother and my younger sister, out of the 5 of us. Don't worry about it. I get kind of crazy. And there was never talk of divorce. There was a time that I always felt that my parents' marriage eventually got to where it was not exactly the strongest, but they'd never leave each other. They would still vacation together at times. Sorry. They would sit in separate parts of the house. They had their own television programs and all. But it was just never, excuse me, the type of divorce the type of marriage that, they had their peaks and valleys like anybody else. But again, there was never, ever, ever a talk of divorce at any point in time. Even after my siblings were placed, because they were, and I hate to say institutionalized, but that's what they were, so that they could be taken care of for the rest of their lives after my parents were gone. So they weren't, as my parents said, so they wouldn't burden my sister Deb and I, which is wonderful. They've lived in a wonderful facility all their lives. They often say that you marry your father. I did. And unfortunately, I could only take so much with my ex-husband, and after a while, he's my ex-husband now. After a while, I couldn't take it, like about the year 18, 19 into that. And unfortunately, things have happened, and he walked out after I became ill. Yeah, and it's okay. I'm fine. I'm coming to work every day. And it was his choice, and that was it. Yeah. And of course, after I started this job, 1989 is when he walked out, and a teacher on campus I was telling him about it, and it's funny that my husband had left, and separated now, and now he goes, "Oh, that's terrible," and he says, "Would you like to go out Saturday night?" Yeah, I know. And I couldn't buy a date at 18. People who work at a school never really find a husband with most women, because the men aren't as prevalent in the workforce in the education field. I am too.
You had like 10,000.
What can I say? What can I say?
Well, did you ever have you ever considered maybe cheating on your husband?
No, I never, ever considered cheating on my ex-husband.
Oh,
never, ever. Oh yeah, right. It was all afterwards. No, there was never, ever any indication at all. And in fact, even dating, I can't even call it what I've done dating at that point in time. I did have a wonderful marriage. I had wonderful memories. We took wonderful trips. I had 3 beautiful children out of the marriage. I had happy times and sad times like we do. We have peaks and valleys and everything. It did end somewhat amicable. I can see him at any point in time. It does not bother me that he's there. I think he's more nervous than I am. It doesn't bother me to see him. He's remarried. He's remarried to somebody who I went through her affair, her divorce from her second husband, and she's remarried with my husband, and she's wonderful to my children. My kids call her Bonus Mom, and we all call her that. And she's actually a friend that I knew long before she even considered dating or marrying Kevin. She actually asked permission if she could date my husband.
Oh my.
And I said, "Well, yeah, if you want to." She asked permission. Yeah, I didn't care.
High standards not standards.
No, I said to her, "Why?" That's what I said. And I said, "Well, if you want to, try it. See what happens. Maybe he'll fit for you." No animosity, no problem at all. So they've been married for a while. I don't know how long they've been married. I don't remember. But yeah, and I see her. Occasionally we'll go out to dinner or go out to lunch actually with my daughter. They'll do some shopping, and they'll call, "Hey Mom, we're meeting here. Why don't you meet us for lunch?" And I'll meet with them. We have a great relationship because we had a great relationship even before she started dating and married my husband. Yeah.
So you guys were friends. And then,
yeah, we were friends. Yeah, because she was friends with my next door neighbor.
Girl code,
Yeah. By this age in life, I don't have any problem that way. I never had a problem with her at all dating. Just said wow, that's amazing.
So while you were with your husband, what kind of things did you guys fight about?
lack of communication on his part. And I would always ask him what's wrong, what's going on. It just was never a good communication type of thing. And unfortunately, sometimes that's the biggest thing. The little things break up a marriage more so than big things many times. And that definitely is a small thing that can build and build and build for many, many, many years. And it was the communication thing, and finally I just said, we're done. I wasn't going to worry about it. Biding my time till my boys were out of high school. Unfortunately, they were 15 when he walked out. But just kind of biding my time until I could get the boys graduated from high school and then be able to move on. Because I was planning to move back to Chicago, actually. I'm so glad I didn't, because the weather there is, I don't think I could walk because of my arthritis now and stuff. But I was actually planning to move back to Chicago after they graduated from high school. Yeah, so, I knew the marriage was over. Yeah, but there was never any, I'm cheating. No, there was never anything like that.
Did you guys ever fight in front of your kids?
Yeah, probably the last year, I really would get very vocal. The kids all say, oh, you and Dad fought all the time. No, we didn't fight all the time, but those last 6 months to a year were tough times. And I'd let him have it because I'd had enough. And it was like, well, if you're going to treat me like this is what you get. And he was chucked out of his shoes a lot of times. And he'd come back at me, and I'd go back at him. Never anything physical, but just letting him know how I felt. It happens, but in all relationships. And I have a sister who's been married for over 30 years. Has a great relationship. It just depends. It's the luck of the draw, how you work with the person. And what should I have done a little bit more, maybe communicating more, saying I want this in my, maybe I should have communicated what I wanted. Maybe the marriage would have lasted longer, maybe the marriage would have ended sooner. I don't know. But when I started vocalizing, saying what I wanted to do and this and that, and when it became no. So, yeah. It happens. Oh, it happens, Vicky. It happens. I know, it's like, oh. Yeah, but it happens.
What would you, if you, could go back and change that, would you rather have your marriage end sooner or elongated?
I would have educated myself before. I would have made sure I was educated, because I put all my eggs in one basket by educating him. He has a master's, he's a CPA, and I really put a lot of effort into educating, thinking that we were a team, that we were going to last forever. That's where I would start. Do I regret? That's the only thing I regret. Communicating with him, talking about stuff and all. I tried. Now, should I have been more open about how I felt about things? Sometimes I didn't really have an opinion. But then it got to where I just kind of let it go because it wasn't worth fighting about. He would pretty much clam up and not talk to me at all for months on end. Wouldn't say goodbye, wouldn't say hello, just would ignore me.
A very cold relationship.
Yeah. Well, it happens. That works. And I just kind of let it go on because it was easier than letting it. I would worry about the kids and fighting in front of them. And then things would let up and they'd be a little nicer for a while. But eventually I'd had enough. But it happens. And in a marriage, especially, with things go on, it wasn't all him. It was also me. And that was my fallacy, not letting my true feelings and thoughts out and how I felt. Because like I said, the marriage might have ended earlier than later. But then I wouldn't have my 3 great kids.
Were you scared that, if you were to voice your thoughts or voice your opinions and feelings, then,
he would get mad. He would, I worried about him later. And because I wasn't educated. I mean, I'm personal, but I would not have been able to live in. I wanted the kids to have a lifestyle that I felt that we had worked and earned for a long time, and that I felt that they deserved. That's why I put up with a lot of it. And but towards the end, I couldn't take it anymore, and I just let him. Yes, I stayed so that the children can have a better life. Mm-hmm. Live in a good neighborhood, have a nice house, have food on the table, money. Just, to feel more secure in their lives that way. So, that's why I stayed. Yeah. For the children.